Next up is punter Grant McKinniss. Go ahead and get your hands raised, and we will get started. Looks like the first one up in the queue is Bennett Durando from the Post-Dispatch. Go ahead, Bennett.
Hey Grant, we know you've got Kentucky here in your past, and you've been in some games against Missouri, including that crazy one a couple years ago. I was curious, first of all, what you remember from coming to Faroe and that game that came down to the wire a couple years ago, and just ahead of this one, if you've gotten a chance to talk to any former teammates who you're looking forward to seeing. Things like that, what's it like to get to play against the former team?
Right. Well, to answer your first question, I do remember, 2018 here, just down in this end zone, the last second play. I've talked about it briefly with some of the teammates around here. They don't like that moment too much, so try to keep that on the down low. But yeah, I'm definitely excited. It's definitely a game I've had circled on the schedule now that I guess it got moved up. It's still circled for me. But I do still talk to a lot of those guys. I lived with a lot of them, or I guess 3 of them. And then I talk to Max Duffy, their punter, quite often, probably about 2 or 3 times a week. So I have a really good relationship with those guys still.
Peter Ball, The Athletic. Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, Grant, I was kind of wondering what makes Max so effective at punting, and I guess how excited are you to go up against him?
Max does a great job. He does a good job of just mixing it up with going across field, and then he's just really consistent. He can hit a nice, clean ball. End under end, technically, is what it is, and he just has a really strong leg at doing that. And then I think their scheme is pretty good, just the way they go about it. Like I said before, going across field and just keeping the returner honest.
Eric Blum, Columbia Tribune. Go ahead, Eric.
Hey, Grant, is any part of you, it's going to be weird lining up against UK helmets in blue? I know you came here for a reason, but is any part of you going to be like, wow, I've done that before. I've been in those uniforms.
I think it is going to be kind of weird. Probably not. I mean, just looking across and be like, wow, I know literally everybody on that sideline. So, but I think once I'm out there and like like I'm about to punt something, I'm not going to be thinking about that. But as in, like, I'm not going to be thinking about, wow, well, I lived with Zach Johnson, I lived with Brett Slusher, and now I'm going against him. I'm not going to think that. I'm just going to think about my job and how I need to execute it. But I think it will be kind of weird, just maybe when I'm on the sideline looking across at them on the other side.
Colin O'Brien, Jeff City News Tribune. Go ahead, Colin.
Hey, Grant, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Not bad, thanks. This team hasn't punted a whole lot through 3 games, but that doesn't necessarily mean that your job on the field isn't done if they're not punting. Just what do you like about how aggressive this offense can be, even if you're linebacker there to punt, but you're not necessarily kicking the ball?
Are you saying, like, can you ask that again?
The team's only punted 8 times, so you haven't had a whole lot to do kicking, but you were also called on to do a fake and you went to the holder for the PATs. Just what do you like about the offense that it calls on you to do more than just punt?
Well, I think it's when I'm only punting 8 times in 3 games, we're scoring points, so that's always good. We're going to be moving the ball and being pretty effective on offense. And then I think the fake really just keeps the defense honest, just to show that we're a little more versatile. Maybe I can throw the ball and we can do more than just give it to the other team.
Did you have any quarterbacking in your background, or is that just something you've had to pick up as
Somebody asked me that. The last time I threw a ball in the game was 8th grade. I played 8th grade quarterback, and then my freshman through senior high school, I was just a kicker and punter. So the last time I threw a pass in a game was 8th grade.
Bennett Durando. Go ahead, Bennett.
Grant, Bear was just telling us that there was sort of a team meeting where Coach Drinkwitz sort of pointed out the fact that Missouri hasn't beaten Kentucky in 5 or 6 years, and the sort of raise your hand if you have beaten Kentucky. Is that something where could you sort of, what was your perspective on that sort of moment, and did you sort of have any conversations with teammates about that afterward?
I really didn't think about it. Obviously I played there, but I never really thought but today I thought, like, dang, I guess I never lost to Missouri. I mean, I won 4 times when I was at Kentucky. But, to be on this side of it, I want to win for the team, and we want to get things done and maybe switch the thing and maybe get a winning streak going the other way.
It looks like last one will be Jack Sobel from the Man-Eater. Go ahead, Jack.
Hey, Grant, having spent time playing for Mark Stoops, from your perspective, what about him has made him the coach that's kind of turned Kentucky around throughout his tenure?
I think he does a good job of he got everybody to buy into his philosophy, and all those players really like him as a coach. And like I said, they all just bought into his coaching philosophy and kind of turned that program around. And I think they've been to, well, I went to 4 straight bowl games there, so they've been on the winning end of a couple seasons.
Okay, that'll do it for Grant. Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you guys.